Welcome to your entertainmentticket.com. I'm John Delia, and this is
Al McGee. That's right, baby.
Yeah, and we're here at the wonderful Hilton Garden Inn in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we do most of our reviews. You've probably recognized some of the scenery in the background. Today, we have the pool, and I'd love to be in there today. What about you?
And you people are freezing up north.
But we really came to you to talk to you about a movie that's coming out like instantly, probably this weekend. It's called The Wrestler.
Now, it's already playing in other cities for the nominations and things like that, but nationwide it's coming out.
Right. He's absolutely right. You might have already noticed it is in your backyard in some cities within the United States, because we are nationwide and international.
And Mickey Rourke, you know, he won the Golden Globe for Best Actor for this film, too.
Absolutely. And Marisa Tomei, who's his partner, was nominated. Exactly. And, you know, The Wrestler is a gut-wrenching movie. It gets into the nitty-gritty of how this wrestler wants to make a comeback, and you know, it's really, I think it hits home, and that's why it's a winner, because it's like the original Rocky. You know, in the original Rocky, he was getting beat to death in the ring all the time, and he was like, you know, he wanted to make this, and he made money by just doing these ring events, and that's basically what's happening here, but only in the wrestling field. Al, tell me your perspective on the movie.
Yeah, I would not compare this movie, The Wrestler, to Rocky. For one, there are two different characters. Randy the Ram Robinson was the wrestler, which Mickey Rourke is playing the actor. He's playing that character, Randy the Ram. He was very popular in the 80s and early 90s, but then he got washed up later on. But now he's trying to make a comeback. But, you know, he beat himself up. He beat his body up. He also beat up all his relationships with his daughter and everyone else around him. The guy is living in a trailer park. I mean, he's really slum. He's really a guy that's really down on his luck.
And that's exactly the way Rocky was in the beginning of that. I don't mean that. I mean, they are two different sports, but that's the way Rocky was. He was from a neighborhood that was really run down. He had the same similar type problems. I'm not trying to compare it with that movie, and you know, rightfully so, and I'm glad you brought that up. We're not trying to compare it with Rocky. I'm not trying to compare it with Rocky. Rocky was a completely different movie. We're just trying to tell you that it's the same kind of nitty-gritty. That's what I'm trying to say. It was like that kind of nitty-gritty kind of film about somebody who was trying to make it into a sport very similar.
Right, and he's trying to make it back. He's trying to be another hero again, trying to make money. But one thing I like about this movie is it's a real human story about a person who tried his best but made a lot of mistakes, you know, in the beginning, and wanted to like renew himself. For example, he wanted to develop a new relationship with his daughter, and because he tore that relationship up years ago. But again, he's a human being, and he's a flawed human being. That's one thing I love about this movie. It talked about this human being as a flawed human being.
That's exactly right. And, you know, that's what makes those kind of movies, those independent movies, good, because they really seem to get into it. And Darren Aronofsky, who is the director, by the way, I got to speak with him, and we'll have the interview up on the web.
Watch for that.
And he felt the same way. That's why he went into this, because he wanted to get the real emotion of what it really was like. I mean, to be in a position as his character.
Yeah, and you know, because many humans are regular people, real people, can't face this, and have not faced this, and have not tried to bring themselves up. They go into really despair. But this guy did not go into despair at all. He just tried to bring himself up again. Didn't blame anyone for his circumstances. That's one thing I loved about this movie.
Yeah, and not only that, the despair was shared. I mean, not shared. I mean, I agree with you on the despair. It wasn't really that way. It was the despair was shown in this film with Marisa Tomei's character.
Oh
yeah,
man.
She was a
and she's still beautiful.
Yeah.
She's playing a stripper. Men, you want to go see that?
Yeah, and in fact, she does get nude in this film, and I got to interview her, and that'll be up on the web.
Oh, you lucky!
Yeah, and you really all her. I mean, there was nobody double for her. And I'll tell you the biggest point was her acting.
Yes.
It was really shining. I've never seen an acting performance out of her like this. You might want to say that Marissa's been around a long time, and she's making a comeback as well. You know what? I agree with you, and I agree with that on Mickey too.
Well, no, I don't think Marisa Tomei is really making a comeback. She has done other movies over the years, but Mickey Rourke, what has he done in the last 10 years? Nothing, because he tried to be a boxer.
Right.
He left Hollywood.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Hollywood came to him and said, well, it's not even really Hollywood. This is an independent film, and they said, look, we'd like for you to make this. You're the only person who can make this movie.
You know what? He was the only person that probably out there right now that could have made this movie. And, you know, he did it all, the stunts himself. When you see the stunts, the fighting in the ring, and you see all this stuff going on, and the cutting and all this stuff, the glass, and that's him.
Because I used to be a big wrestling fan,
Yeah.
you know, and I said, Dad, this is exactly what they used to do. I mean, that's how they're doing it today.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was still spectacular. I'm not a big fan anymore, but I enjoyed all those scenes when he was in them. Doing the wrestling.
There's no CGI in this movie.
None.
It's all the real thing that you see going on. And I tell you, I liked the fact that it was that way, because, you know, if you want to see, and that's why I think this picture should really be, you know, awarded for in some way. I don't know, maybe not Best Picture, but in some way I think that hopefully the Oscars will have Mickey Rourke up there as one of the
I think it should be up there, but to
actors.
me it was not the best picture of the year for me.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Not for me,
It wasn't.
but it was an excellent film, and it is on my top 10. Look for our top 10
Yes,
too
we
on
both
our
have it
website.
in the top 10.
Yeah.
In fact, it's number 5 on my list.
Yeah.
I want to say, you know, thank you for joining us.
Well, how many palm trees you gonna give it?
I'm got to give it 4.5 out of 5. The only reason why I didn't give it the other half a palm tree is because I guess I don't know why I didn't give it.
I'm giving it 5 palm trees.
Give it the whole 5.
Oh,
I'll tell
yeah.
you what.
I'm giving it the whole 5.
I will. I will. I'll go along with Al. I'm going with 5 also. This is definitely a 5 palm tree movie.
Oh, yeah. And remember also, Mickey Rourke already won the Golden Globe for Best Actor. He beat out a lot of other actors.
That's right.
In some very big movies, and I'm glad to see that.
I'm glad to see it too, and I think you'll like this movie. Go see it on the big screen. Again, Al,
Well,
close it off.
that's it from yourentertainmentticket.com. Keep watching us every day.
And the day after.
The Wrestler. Yeah!
Woo! Give me that hold. Wait.